Barbie. It's the biggest movie event in years. Parades of pink at the theaters. Reenactments of Barbie's dream house. Now, a lot of people think this is just a fun, feel-good movie. But just like Barbie the doll, this film has real political content. Why else would feminist influencers and scholars be twisting themselves into embarrassing pretzels trying to extract a liberating message from this film that rehabilitates a once rightly despised symbol of women's subjugation? Seriously, people? High heel wearing, big breast obsessed blonde Barbie a feminist icon? How low are your sights? You can't subvert this by toying with it, and you shouldn't want to reclaim this. You do know that for a real-life woman to have the proportions of a Barbie doll, her organs would collapse. She'd tip over and probably die. You do know that Barbie was programmed to say, math class is hard.
Math class is tough.
Reinforcing thousands of years of girls being told that what is important is not what they think or can contribute to society, but being sexually appealing to men or having children. And by the way, the opening scene of Barbie the movie that shows little girls playing with baby dolls and training to be mothers, supposedly being liberated by a Barbie doll that indoctrinates them to be sex objects, didn't break any mold. Virgin, whore. Baby-making machine, sex object. Mike Pence, Donald Trump. Different expressions, but it is still patriarchy through and through. Now, people make a big deal about the fact that the film calls out the patriarchy by name probably 10 times. But women and girls cannot get free through the film's bankrupt bourgeois feminist fantasies, not through parasitic empowerment for me, within the existing world-plundering patriarchal system of capitalism imperialism, and not through literally switching positions with men and taking over everything as happens in Barbie's happily ever after ending, while leaving all the current relations and structures intact. Getting free requires overthrowing this system and replacing it with a revolutionary socialist system that enables us, all of us, from all genders, to go to work together, digging up and overcoming patriarchy and all forms of oppression once and for all. It's true that at its highest moments, Barbie the movie gives voice to some of the excruciating contradictions of being female in this world. At one point, America Ferrera's character rants, "It is literally impossible to be a woman. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point it out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're also supposed to be part of the sisterhood.
You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault."
Okay, I get why it feels so good for so many to hear these words spoken out loud on the big screen. This shit is impossible. It is unbearable. It is no fucking fair. But Ferrera's rant only scratches the surface. And she only vents at the way these standards are unachievable. She never calls out their patriarchal content. And still worse is how Margot Robbie's Barbie character then answers Ferrera. She says, quote, "By giving voice to the cognitive dissonance required to be a woman under the patriarchy, you robbed it of its power." Really? Imagine telling your mechanic, "I have to drive to the freeway every day, but my brakes aren't working. Help." Now imagine them responding, "Well, my work here is done by giving voice to the cognitive dissonance of trying to stay alive while driving fast without brakes. You have robbed this danger of its power." Now I bet you wouldn't walk out of there saying, "Ooh, deep, how liberating," and then get back behind the wheel. No, you'd say, "Fix my damn brakes so I don't fucking die." It is not enough to acknowledge a problem. If you want to solve it, you have to get to the root of it and you have to fix it. And in this case, the root of the problem is not some superficial pink-washed patriarchy as portrayed in this film that floats abstractly in the heads of ego-driven doofus men who can easily be flirted with and tricked into stepping out of the way. No, patriarchy in the real world is the brutal and systematic domination of women by men in every realm of life, public and private. It is a woman beaten every 9 seconds. It is incest and insult inside the home. It is rape and sexual harassment on the job, at school, on the street, and on an industrial scale in war zones. It is hating yourself, cutting yourself, starving yourself. It is being enslaved through being forced to have a child against your will by being denied an abortion. It is 40+ million women and girls pimped out and sold in the global sex industry. As the revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian, has said, the oppression of women is completely bound up with the division of societies into masters and slaves, exploiters and exploited. And this oppression is woven into all such societies that have existed for thousands of years, including this one that we live in now. I am talking about American capitalism imperialism, whose networks of exploitation and, yes, patriarchy wrap around the world. And they include the women and girls in the death trap sweatshops of Bangladesh who stitch the pink fast fashion outfits that women here are wearing to their Barbie cocktail parties. And this includes the girls assembling actual Barbie dolls in China, Malaysia, and Indonesia. And here is something crucial to understand. As the economy of this country has changed in recent decades, and as women struggled against their oppression, women entered professional and public life in unprecedented ways. And this even got reflected in Mattel, the company that makes Barbie, feeling compelled to release President Barbie and construction worker Barbie, and even some Barbies that weren't white. But these changes in the real world, and in a few fucking Barbie dolls, did not end the patriarchy. Because patriarchy cannot be ended under this system. So instead, these changes gave rise to a hateful, revenge-fueled movement that is determined to punish women for ever having gotten out of their place. We see this in the fascist movement that captured the Supreme Court and the Republican Party and the hearts and the unthinking minds of millions of armed-to-the-teeth fascist zombies. We see it in the fascists declaring war, even on this watered-down bourgeois feminist twist on Barbie doll.
Well, folks, I just got back from the theaters seeing Barbie.
What the f***? Run.
And we see it in the overturning of abortion rights, which is shattering lives by the day. Compare how much ink was spilled, waxing on about how empowering Barbie supposedly is, and how much time women piled into theaters wrapped in pink, to the absence of outrage and protest against an 18-year-old girl in Nebraska, and soon it seems her mother, being sent to prison for inducing her own abortion. Now, in a prettified way, the movie Barbie gives a nod to this real-world nightmare. Ken dolls attempt a patriarchal takeover of Barbie Land's presidency and Supreme Court. But here is where this film fails hardest of all. The solution to all of this is not for each woman to finally just be able to be herself as an individual, while this fascist juggernaut gains steam. Nor is the solution trying to capture the Supreme Court back and the presidency, as is promoted by the film. The problem is not who runs this system. It is, as I have been speaking to, the system itself. Besides, in the real world, it would take 30 or 40 years to capture the Supreme Court, even if it were possible. 30 or 40 years at least of women being reduced to incubators, to breeders, enslaved in that way. But that's not even how things are going. The fascists who now control the court are blowing up rights by the day of LGBTQ people and black people and immigrants and shattering norms at blinding speed. And Trump and his hardcore fascist base, the ones who attempted an insurrection in 2020, have already declared that they will not accept an election loss in 2024. And this time, they are prepared to take this all the way and to permanently lock in a nightmare beyond what most of you will even allow yourselves to imagine. But there is a way to not only defeat this fascism, but to get rid of the system that gave rise to it, the system that enforces the patriarchal degradation and oppression of women, and so much more. It is to seize on the unprecedented unraveling of this system and the society as a whole to fight for a real revolution, to overthrow this system and dismantle its constitution, its Supreme Court, its machinery of violence and repression, and to replace all this with the liberating system laid out in the Constitution for the new socialist republic in North America. This Constitution, written by the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian, declares as one of its most important goals digging up and overcoming all forms of oppression based on gender and sexual orientation. Abortion rights will be guaranteed, and we will foster a truly and radically liberating culture with plenty of play and fun and art, as well as seriousness and ferment. And people will have the most fundamental right of all, the right to come together, to change the world, to put an end to oppression and exploitation in every part of the world and in every form. This is possible. It is something that generations before us could only dream of, but it is a chance that is real and it is before all of us now. It is time to stop play acting with patriarchal toys and put away futile feminist fantasies that won't ever come true. Instead, it is time to break the chains, to unleash the fury of women as a mighty force for a real revolution.